Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week one of the Rainbow Open Sunlight Division, sponsored by the Memoris League. I'm HD Philly B, and with me is Pascal, and it's a pleasure to spend Sunday evening with you all casting some great Overwatch 2 gameplay. For those that aren't too familiar with the Memoris League, it's an LGBTQ plus friendly draft style tournament competition. Each week, two teams will battle it out in a first to three map set to see who will come out on top. Our map order goes control, hybrid, flash, push, and escort. We'll get to those map pools a little bit later. But for now, we have two fantastic teams playing for you all this evening. We have No More Mr. Nice Guy versus USF. So that is the University of South Florida, and it is their white team. So they have a couple of different teams in their collegiate esports, and they're here to do some off-season training with against some other collegiate players as well. So it should be some fantastic stuff as we have the USF White roster ahead of you. Most of these players are either Grandmaster or to Diamond to Platinum range, overall about Grandmaster 1 average. So we'll be looking at a lot of these folks to make some great plays here. Combat Kid, their favorite hero is Diva. They are a Halo Infinite player at heart, but has converted to Overwatch just because that is what's been, in the scene as of recently. We do have Sonic Mark as well, who's their main support player. The one person I don't see who could be the sub here is Joy. She usually plays DPS, Reapers on their docket there as well. We do have Baka Vaka, which it means idiot in Japan and cow in Portuguese. So the idiot cow here, trying to not show any of that kind of stuff by playing the tank and the support roles as well. So definitely a lot to love about this roster. We'll be putting a lot of emphasis though onto Pickle. They are kind of like the team captain, the one that everybody rallies around on this squad, and the tank role is the perfect position for them to be in. Our next roster is No More Mr. Nice Guy here, and plenty to love about this roster as well. We do have Shiny Pants. They do play the tank role for their squad. They do love the Bastion, as you can see their icon image there. Then we have Bilara. Bilara is a fantastic player, loves Baptiste, is a DPS support player, and so Baptiste is the perfect mix of both deep damage and healing, so love to see that choice there. We do have Watson as well. She loves the Diva, is also a DPS and support player. And then we have, this is Peppy Julie, and she is a support player, loves the May. And then we have Timmy. Timmy is another DPS and support player as well. We'll mainly focus on the DPS in this division here. Their fun fact is that they love pickles. Well, you're going to be seeing a lot of pickle on the other side, so don't get too excited, Timmy, when you see the opposing tank. I know you'll want to, put that DPS passive upon them, but slow your roll, don't get caught out of position. So a lot to love between these two teams. They also have a Grandmaster 1 average across their Season 11 rankings, so this should be a hotly contested match. Pisco, that's adorable. I used to have a orange tabby who looked just like that. Her name was Lady. She was more of a dog than a cat. If you whistled, she would come. If she wanted pets, she'd walk right up to you. I do miss her greatly. She was fantastic, but glad to have Pisco as my co-caster here this evening for the opening week of the Rainbow Open and the Sunlight Division. Nothing better than casting some Overwatch, playing some Overwatch on a Sunday night, the best way to kind of wind down your week. So we will hop right into it as we get to our map pool. Control will be the first one we will open with. Control is always where we start off some of these major tournaments. It's like that team deathmatch style of Overwatch where everyone can kind of get their fingers loose, get themselves nice and sweaty in their chairs, because it's just a free-for-all sometimes in terms of how the players are playing. I know if Pisco could talk back to me, they would meow in agreement because of just the chaotic nature of this game mode, but it is so fun to start off with because of the energy level that it brings. So just to talk a little bit more about this league, this division, There are three divisions in the Rainbow Open, all dependent on your rank and your team's rank. And so, because this is a very open community, one that we want everyone to feel comfortable playing, not feel like they're with somebody who's going to yell at them if they make a mistake, or somebody too far out of their league where they just get stomped, and then that kind of stinks, right? So we've carefully calculated and combined these teams to make sure that the divisions and the teams in these divisions are nicely organized. So we have the Sunlight division that plays on Sunday. We have a few other divisions. Let me get my spreadsheet. We have the Midnight division that's on Fridays, and the Twilight division that plays on Saturdays. So every night of the weekend, you can see us right here on Twitch at the Memoris League channel, and you can find all of those great teams and all of those great players. So a lot to love about this division and about this league. This Rainbow Open usually happens a couple times a year. If you go to the Memoris website, you can do signups. There's one in January and then one in this like July, August range. So about every 6 months or so, we put together this tournament. It lasts for a number of weeks, probably like, I think it's like 6 or 7 weeks. And then there's some playoffs at the end. So definitely a good way to spend the summer. It helps a lot of these collegiate teams gear up for the season. So I know a lot of I cast EGF, the Collegiate League, that usually starts the first week of October. So yeah, just the collegiate leagues, they need some time to prep. We also need some time to prep. So we're gonna head to a quick break as we get some folks back into the lobby after some server issues.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Sorry for a bit of a delay. We had some tech problems on the team sides, but we're almost ready. Unfortunately, my camera isn't ready. I had it ready, and then it died on me again. Yay!
For a second, I thought Pisca had transformed and now became sentient and actually started speaking. So glad that is not the case, and the cats are not going to rule the world just yet. But
Not
good
yet.
to have you, Zoe, here with us this evening. It's set to be a fantastic matchup between these two squads.
It really is. Like I think you did mention this already. I do believe I heard this while I was trying to get my camera working the first time. Um, that this is our plat and below divisions. These are kind of some, but Um, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling a little bit. I am battling my camera as the same time as I'm trying to cast, so this is going great. But I'm trying to focus on the cast because this is what we're here for, right? This is day 3 of the Rainbow Open, match 3 that we're casting. Obviously, both our other divisions have played most, if not all, of their matches by this point. So we're just kicking off the Sunlight division now, and we had some great matches for the other two divisions. There's CAW going on at the same time. It's a great time for OWE sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the sun sets upon us here, at least on the East Coast, the sun will be shining in this division between these two teams. I know they're both ready to get into it. The USF White, their collegiate program is really on the up and up right now. I was doing a little bit of research beforehand. They're investing a lot into the program, and so having some of these tournaments throughout the summer to get their teams ready, because a lot of what esports is about team chemistry. The better your communications are, the better where you understand the positioning, the natural tendencies of your teammates, the better you will play. So the more you can do these sort of tournaments where there's not a lot of stakes on the line, you're just here to have fun, but you can kind of practice, as Zoe and I were kind of talking in the green room here. These are like elevated scrims, really. We like to put a little bit more stake to it because it is the Rainbow Open, but really they can try out new things, and especially with this patch, with season 11, right, all the different changes to the tanks, it's open. You can really be any tank that you want to be right now, which is great. And so a lot of these teams might be experimenting with different tank styles, different compositions, and the like. Right now, we are seeing a lot of the Ramatra. Ramatra is really heavy. We're seeing a lot of Diva as well. But right now, our map pool has been set, and we are going to the Samoa Islands.
Yeah, we are heading out to the beautiful island nation where Mauga is from. Mauga, also a hero you can play right now, but finally maybe in a balanced state with that only 3 seconds on that cardiac overdrive. But like you mentioned, we're seeing a lot of Ramatra. We're also seeing a lot of Diva. Never mind, Prod has baited us. We're going to Nepal.
And this has been kind of the standard map for a lot of these tournaments, is to go to Nepal first. And so we are hopping right into it. Finally, I've been on the edge of my seat waiting for this matchup as we have our agents getting ready to assemble. And it's the Junker Queen coming out from USF
Yeah.
and the Sigma from No More Mr. Nice Guy.
The Queen, absolutely, something you can play in the current meta, but very much an all-in comp, and you see that as well with the Kiriko being run. That if this comp does not get first pick, it is going to go this comp incredibly quickly for it to work out. So we need to see a fast aggression from the side of Bakavaka and UCSF White. On the other side, a little bit more traditional rush brawl from No More Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, don't tell me Marcus tech. Are we having a type in? What's going on here? Okay. But a little bit more of a traditional brawl from NNMG, or NMMNG, good lord, that's a hard name to say quickly. With the Genji, who's actually in a great spot right now, as well as the Cassidy, but Combat Kid finds that first pick onto the Lucio of NMG, and the Rams falling very low, and this is how we need to see USF play this.
Yeah, and I really liked the off angle that Combat Kid was taking. They're there to kind of be the bodyguard for their squad, prevent any of the dives from coming through. They got a couple shots onto the Genji, great too, and then someone else peeked, and it was Peppy Julie, and then they just got a couple of shots to the head and went down, and that just kind of cracked the armor open for an easy take from University of Southern Florida.
Yeah, some decent ult charge built up, especially for Watson and the DPS line on the side of No More Mr. Nice Guy, but there's still trailing behind Baka Baka and Combat Kid. Not a huge ult death blossom, but definitely something you can get value out of. And this Rampage also could be devastating with how far Pepe Julie is behind on that beat charge.
Yeah, that's a
Ooh.
really good observation there, my friend. That beat charge is going to be the crucial factor here to keep the team alive. And once again, the support line goes down first.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do as USF White. You don't want to be shooting this tank. This tank is not going to die to your comp. You want to walk by this tank. You want to shoot that Lucy. You want to shoot that Baptiste. And we've seen them execute very well. Baka Baka almost punished for chasing into Timmy Tum Tum, but Timmy Tum Tum will fall late, and that's going to hurt when it's already 60% USF.
Yeah, all of the check marks in the world now coming online for USF, so they are feeling good with the alt economy. They'll be able to cycle this very cleanly. I'm expecting to only use maybe 1 or 2 per fight just to kind of see this one through as we're reaching the 75% mark.
Yeah, if they play their cards right, they absolutely have everything they need to win this, but they need to not drop 6 ult here. Rampage out connects onto 4. That lamp only lasts so long and absolutely shredded. I don't mind the Death Blossom, but I think Pickle a little overeager with that beat.
Yeah, they wanted to get green onto everyone, and they did, but a little unnecessary. The great thing with that Rampage is there's no Suzu on the other side. The Kiriko just does not exist in this server. A close touch there, Zoe, but just not enough from the side of the nice guys.
Yeah, the Genji does make it in with the blade, and now the Ramasha's got Annihilation running, but he has no friends and is stomping around in the Kitsune Rush. Jumpin' Wizard's HP is going to disappear. No one else can touch in a very, very strong round here from USF White.
Emphatic, clean, and practiced is all you can say about that performance. I mean, the one thing was Pickle using that sound barrier when he probably didn't need to, but other than that, I mean, they just were on the point and could not be dislodged.
Absolutely. There was no moving them, and they showed a great mastery of the aggression of this Queen Cobb. The Torb would be an interesting.
Yeah,
I don't really know how else to put that.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And seeing Niter on the Soldier, they played that in the previous round as well. I mean, you could take out that turret pretty quickly, and then the Kiriko can heal you up. You can heal yourself up with the Biotic Field. So not sure what Timmy is trying to go for here. We'll see if they kind of change off of it quickly.
I wonder if this is for an off angle, if you just throw the turret by point and it just shoots from an off angle. I mean, kind of, yeah, that does appear to be the play. It makes a little more sense with the Sigma that we're seeing here from Jumpin' Wizard. Just a very, very defensive approach. Oh my god, that deflect!
Wow, that was huge to find the DPS line, and the turret was all just a bait for the switch, and now the rest of USF is just crumbling down and all being sent back to spawn. The point will now go the way of Mr. Nice Guys.
And I mean, I think that was like a deflected soul rocket plus the Sigma shots from Jumpin' Wizard based on the ult charge. And that just turned Niter and Combat Kid into a thin ace. Nothing the rest of the team could do from there. And how the ult charge for these USF DPS is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, and what they have a huge pick going their way is Pickle does go down, Zoe.
Yeah, without this speed, this Queen Calm struggles. I do believe there's still the shout up, and USF seemingly still wants to stick around in this. They're taking a lot of poke though, and they lose Baka Baka. They gotta get out now, and yeah, everyone's just gonna fall at this point.
Okay, I can see what they were trying to do with this Torbjorn, because the Junker Queen has to go through the Sigma barrier to get any sort of value. And by the time you're getting through the Sigma barrier, you've already taken a ton of shots from the turret, and then you have to expend the commanding shout. That's usually your maneuvering tool, your escaping tool, your survivability tool, and now you don't have that. So your toolkit's empty and you're dead. So a nice little change of pace here from the Nice Guys. The Kitsune Rush online though, and now used.
The Rampage hits everyone, and yes, there's a flux, but everyone falling so low on the side of USF. They're forced to use that Coalescence. Does keep everyone up, but doesn't sustain Timmy Tum Tum or Jumpin' Wizard. They're able to get a trade onto Pickle. Watson now looking for something, but without this fade is a very healthy target. Great to trade onto Niter. Maybe something here, but I think it's just Pepe Julie, and they're going to look to just skedaddle away with their buddy the Genji. Actually, they're kind of still fighting, though.
Yeah, just a few skirmishes just to kind of cover the retreat there. A really expensive fight from the University of South Florida to take that. Pickle has changed over to the Brigitte and already 70% on the rally. That's going to be huge for them in this upcoming engagement.
Yeah, this Brigitte is an interesting pick with Queen Comp because it very much commits you to a shout engage, and then you have no disengage options, but it does strengthen your brawl, and brawl they are. They have flipped the point, and now they've gotten their picks, and now it's all over. The Death Blossom comes out, kind of just for finishing touches. Maybe a little bit of a delayed communication there about how he come through, but it is just Death Blossom.
The Death Blossom is known as the janitorial ultimate, right? Just kind of cleans up the low health targets. But Pickle on cue got a double kill at the beginning of that engagement just to start it all off, and now they have the rally to be able to hold this choke.
Yeah, they're set up very nicely to hold this choke, but the rampage is massive. Pepe Julie gets a good beat, doesn't get Ajax by that rally stun, but Jumping Wizard solo on this Reinhardt. The Genji Blade is out, but there's nothing to support it. And, oh, they just couldn't cut through any of the healing.
Yeah, now the alt economy firmly in the favor of the University of Southern Florida. Maybe the Kitsune Rush once again, maybe not needed, but just pressuring the opposition, just making their cooldowns go away, putting them all the way back to the spawn room doors, and the percentages are going to get close to tied.
Yeah, we are going to be tied before this engagement can come through. Coalescence, the only ultimate currently in hand, but yeah, Niter just hits a couple bullets, has that visor. Combat Kid also very close to that visor. Jumping Wizard a couple swings away, but Combat Wizard needs to live, and Combat Wizard doesn't live.
Yeah, he's able to take out the opposing tank, which is huge. The Coalescence, the Kameha as well, trying to sustain the rest of the team as the tank has gone down, but it might be a little too late, and it's Pepe Julie who goes for the touch.
They do need to go for that touch, and they do make it, but there's no team to back them up. USF very smartly just cleaning up people in main before turning to deal with this Lucio, knowing that this Lucio does not pose a huge threat on their own. I thought they had an environmental goal for a moment, but no, they were able to get back on the map. Good. I think that was a Combat Kid. I couldn't exactly tell, but barring some miracle, which is not okay. No, wait, there is another touch here. There's a Sombra here too. No, they can't quite burn him down. Did I just hear a Tranquility? Where did I just hear?
It is the monastery of the monks, so maybe Zenyatta is out there praying somewhere. But ultimately, the first round here on Nepal, both rounds go the way of the University of Southern Florida. They are looking clean here in this match tonight.
Yeah, I was questioning the Brig swap a little bit. It is an interesting swap with the Queen comp because you really do love that Lucio speed, but they made it work. They gave them that extra sustain they were looking for into that Sig Torb, and that was very nice. And also, hi, you can see me now.
Fantastic. Pickle is known as a
nobody.
tank and support player. So the
Yeah.
Brig, obviously that hybrid kind of player, can take the front line a little bit, can support the back line. So I think Pickle has found their spot.
By the way, nobody look at my camera funny. It will crash again. I know it's already lagging, but please, I'm just kind of working this thing's cable is bad. I need a new one, please. Just don't look at it funny. But yeah, like you were mentioning, that Brig, definitely a bit of a hybrid character between that DPS and tank. Perhaps a bit of a comfort character from Pickle. Although I believe Pickle did mention that their favorite hero was, if I could pull the right sheet, was actually that Ramatra. But Pickle was put on the support line for this one, and they put in I'm looking for the name. Put in Baka Vaka, who was a diva preference on tank. It looks like, so maybe we see the diva coming out depending on next map.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in some of the hybrid or escort matches where there's a lot of high ground, low ground transitioning, Diva definitely excelling at getting to those areas. And Diva, with a lot of buffs to the micro missiles and to the boosters and things of that nature, a really proficient tank in her own right. So wouldn't hate to see her on the battlefield today.
The first time since season 3 in Overwatch 2 she's been meta. It's been a tough road for Diva after off tanks got removed, but a defense matrix buff gives her tons of survivability, and like you said, those micro missiles can really shred, especially a 250 HP target. If you catch a Moira fading in with Diva and you hit the micro missiles on them, there's no hope for them. They're dead. So, but it is no more Mr. Nice Guy's map pick after losing map 1. So what do you think they're looking for in a pick? I don't think they're going to be looking to mirror rush based on how this first map went.
No, I think they'd have to go with something that they feel comfortable on. They did switch to the Reinhardt at the very end. Reinhardt has seen a resurgence since the new patches come out with the tank buff. So something that will maybe facilitate the Reinhardt to move things through, especially if we're moving into a hybrid map. Maybe Eichenwald could be a good idea. King's Row is always everybody's
Yeah, our
favorite.
our
So
our, our map pool is Midtown, Kings Row, and Bonnie, just to confirm for everyone. So all well, not Nimbani. You don't run the Reinhardt in Nimbani, but maybe NMMNG has a pocket dive that we haven't seen. Maybe they want to take us to Nimbani for that, or maybe they just want to go with this Rhine ball. And then you can go either Midtown or King Row. You probably would go King.
yeah, I think you would go Kings Row. That's probably where they're going to head, unless they have some sort of thing that they've been working on. And like we said, this is kind of like elevated scrim, so maybe they might
Yeah.
go with something a little bit wonky and go to Numbani just because there's something that they want to try out and just throw a curveball out here for the opposition.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always something interesting you can do when you have map pick is like you can kind of decide like, hey, are we happy with how that last map went? Are we happy with how like our brawl v brawl felt? Do we think we just like tune it up a little bit in between the maps, make a couple swaps, and then run them over, or do we want to like completely change it up and go for the dive? Now, also worth noting, Sunlight Division is fairly small. There's only 4 teams in it, so this Swiss stage does not mean a ton for these Sunlight teams. This is a seeding stage. All 4 teams will make playoffs. So this is just about getting yourselves in shape, getting to know the other teams, and like you said, like even though this is a tournament, this is elevated scrims because there's no stakes for these teams in the Swiss stage given the set of teams. So everyone's going to make playoffs. So what matters is what you do in playoffs, but how you do in playoffs is set up by the now. So there is importance now.
Sure. Absolutely. And I think you can also do a lot of scouting to the other
Yeah.
team. What do they like to run? What are some of their weaknesses? Do they have a limited hero pool on some of their players? And then how do we counter against that? Or how do we facilitate ourselves? And so definitely a lot to go. And it is King's Row that
Kings
has been
Row.
decided.
Scrims Row, everyone plays this map, everyone knows this map. It doesn't matter if you've been here since 2016 or if you just joined last week, you have played Scrims Row at least once. And so it's a very classic Rhine map. You know, the OG on this map was Rhine Zarya. Can't do that anymore. Only
Yeah.
one tank. But you know, as we see the Mondada statue and the little picture of Mondada in the bottom right, little throwback to the Alive short. If
Yeah.
anyone here knows the Alive short, oh, those shorts are so good, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Yeah. And then NMN. Oh, Lord, I can't say. You know, I'm just gonna call them No More Mr. Nice Guy. I can't say their
Yeah.
abbreviation fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are showing us the queen early. They are the attackers, so don't put too much weight into that. And the widow is likely just for a shot off the top, which we've seen bear fruit. But on USF White, that's a mercy.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to really facilitate the backline here with some of these long range poke heroes in the Ash and in the Soldier. So probably toggling between those two, trying to just pepper down the choke here. And then the Diva's just going to try to soak up as much damage with Pickle, healing them at the back. So an interesting
Yeah.
kind of composition, but one that could work.
This is gonna. I think this is a lot of the way gonna come down to rotations. If No More Mr. Nice Guy just walks onto point, they will probably lose. They need to make a rotation to force Combat Kid and Sonic Mark, who I believe is a sub as well, although don't 100% quote me, out of these high gun positions, and we do see them doing that. We see them going up, Vaka contesting, but obviously can't stand up to the full might of 5 feet ever. Although, oh, some nice shots, take out Jumpin' Wizard.
And there it is. It's that pocketed Ash that just can do so much damage, getting a double kill there to just kind of, thwart the advance. But that's exactly what USF White is trying to do. Well, they're saying, okay, go through the choke. We'll allow you. But then you're going into the Lion's Den, and you're just going to get crossfired. You don't know who to engage on. And by the time you decide, you're dead.
Vaka did lose mech there late, so they currently don't have a diva as and No More Mr. Nice Guy looks to push through this hotel side. They've gone over to that Tracer. Oh, nice shots on a Niter. Watson very low, being sustained, and Pickle falls, and I believe No More Mr. Nice Guy has their into this.
Yeah, with that Diva being out of mech, that's the linchpin in their formation, really. So without that,
Okay,
they don't really
making
have
things
sustain.
Combat Kid making things interesting. Takes out Watson. Just sustaining on the high ground for now. Very smart. You can recontest later as Waka just tickling this point. Oh, that's a nice pull, though.
Yeah, you want to get that sniper off the high ground as much as you can. Niter, though, has changed over to the Junkrat. The Carnage does come through. The Mercy goes down, but the res does come off.
The J Silly is out. The self-destruct is up. There's a beat. Only connects onto 2. But they are able to hide from the self-destruct and sustain. There's a Bob available. That's a big threat. Taking so much damage. They're still trying to get Watson back. Jumping Wizards is so low, but they managed to escape through the choke. I think they're safe to get Watson that Coalescence.
That was an absolutely incredible disengage and re-engage from the side of Florida.
The shout forced early.
And that's a huge cooldown expended.
Yeah. Now they have to just wait here while you ramble about whatever you were going to say before I so rudely interrupted you.
No worries. I mean, the fact that they were able to kind of touch the point, fly away, touch the point, fly away until the reinforcements came back was absolutely massive. Now the Coalescence engage here from the side of Mr. Nice Guy.
There's a Bob, a Kitsune, and a Valk on the other side. That is so much damage. Bob finds 1, Niter finds 2, and an NG needs to die. They traded up super favorably in terms of ultimates, but they need time. And they're not really close to any other ultimates, but if they can force this Suzu early, Jumping Wizards could win this fight with a ramp.
I mean, my one critique of South Florida is that they use too many ultimates. They need to have more discipline. That was the Valkyrie and the Kitsune Rush. You probably only needed 1 there. Now, what are you going to do to counter the Rampage that's coming in from Jumping Wizard?
Yeah, there is a Riptire, and we could see the Riptire just say, I don't care that we just got Rampage, your team is dead. That's a huge headshot from Pickle. Oh my god.
You don't have to worry about the Rampage if the Queen is dead, my friend.
That's the Suzu, though. They had to use the Suzu to try and save Vaka. If they get back quick, there's a tiny, tiny window where the Suzu's down, but they're going to zone that. That's so smart from Vaka. And they catch Timmy Tum Tum. These staggers are brutal.
Yeah, that's going to take a lot of time off the clock with only less than 30 seconds remaining, my friend. And another dive from Baka was huge.
That was so well communicated. Niter got them very low with a mine and a grenade and called it to Baka, got in. And now there's no more time to mess around and choke. They need to go, and there's almost another Bob online.
I'm hearing the tire as well. And the Rampage too, Zoe.
Watson dead. Pickle getting focused, has that TP. They get combat kit. They're losing their backline. They have no supports. They're able to trade Sonic Mark, but it's just the DPS here. Timmy Tum Tum has no HP, but there's a blade. There's a blade on point. Great 2 is going crazy with this blade.
Yeah, finding a 2K and putting so much damage on the mech. They do find the Genji, but now it's just the Pilot Diva against Timmy Tum Tum. The recall forced out, but the overtime wick is now burning, Zoe.
I think No More Mr. Nice Guy has this point. They're going to throw a bomb at it for USF White. They want to stall this. They want to get people back and go. They have a Valk and a Kitsune Rush to do it with. Bob doing his business, staying on point. Eventually dies to the ball of Jumping Wizard. Watson has a window to... Oh, watch that point, Wick. No More Mr. Nice Guy. They almost C9 that, but they find Niter, and finally the payload is on the move.
Wow, I thought they were about to turn it with the Bob, like, perfectly placed onto the point. I thought they had a way in, but the Mr. Nice Guys held the choke well enough and thwarted the advance, and there goes Combat Kid, so they will firmly make their way through this choke point now.
And it looks like Jumping Wizard is looking to keep this Doomfist. It's not bad. It lets you get in this backline, lets you get on Combat Kid and Sonic Mark, and now we've seen both Combat Kid and Sonic Mark fall. There's a lot of pressure on Peppy Julie, but there is a Kiriko. They don't mind. There's a self-destruct, ambitious from Baka only gets the lamp. I don't know if they really should have committed that. I got that I get on a bunch of point time. They really eat the pulse ball, which is nice, but that would have been nice to sustain later, you might think.
Yeah, and there's that once again, that
good
critique
shots.
Is that discipline on the ultimate usage. I mean, the team fight was lost. You might as well give up the space, just reset more quickly with your team so you don't lose any more meterage there from Baka. I like the switch to the Doomfist. This is a dive v dive now, right? So the Doomfist can kind of dive past you, go for your backline, which is kind of vulnerable with the Mercy, and then take them down. So Niter changing over to the Cassidy to kind of prevent some of that dive.
This does seem to be USF leaning into a bit into that counter dive. Counter dive, something Diva's been known to be prolific at since she was added to the game when the game released, but can't keep Sonic Mark alive. The Kitsune is laid down. Watson pops that window, and this is just clean up for No More Mr. Nice Guy.
My goodness, a treasure trove of ultimates expended there to try to push this cart to the end. Both ultimates from the support line tossed forward, and it is enough to get the fight and to get the point too.
Oh, that's a nasty stagger on a Niter. They have to pop the Valk to prevent the Mercy from getting staggered. They should get the res. That means res is on cooldown if they even want to use it. Looks like they're happy to just let Niter respawn and block away a little bit. I think we weren't going to go for that res. Maybe worth just letting yourself die. That ult discipline we mentioned maybe coming back to haunt USF White as no more Mr. Nice Guys turn this from an overtime .1 into a 2-minute .2.
Yeah, but we know it's pretty hard to cap this point here on King's Row, so they're going to have to do a lot of work as the Dragon Blade comes through, Zoe.
Yeah, both supports going low. Sonic Mark the first to fall. Timmy Tum Tum picks up another, and Grade 2 is cleaving this team in twain. Good discipline from Baka Baka to hold the self-destruct this time. That's what we've been wanting to see. And yeah, we see changes coming through from USF White. They want to be less powerful. Oh, Timmy Tum Tum gets caught by the remake.
A squish there from Baka, and finding a kill as well. That does a huge way to stall this out.
My voice just cracked there, because what a play from Baka Baka, or perhaps what a misplay from Pepe Julie. That lamp was out, you saw it go down the self-destruct, but they get caught outside of it. They couldn't find cover or the lamp, and now no more Mr. Nice Guy has to reset. There's only 1 minute on the clock. They have that meteor strike, and there's no ult for USF White except maybe this pulse bomb from Combat Kit.
Niter changing over to the Venture as well could be a little bit of a sneaky pick here to find their way in and get some eliminations. There's Jumpy Wizard jumping in again.
Yeah, both cooldowns forced from this Baptiste, but they're so low, and they go in deeper with that meteor strike. They couldn't be reached by Watson or Pepe Julie. Maybe a little bit of a mistake there from Jumping Wizard. Thought they could clean up, and they're committing. They have 20 seconds, but they get Pepe Julie. Hang on, maybe there's something here. No, there is nothing here. That was an overcommitment for no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, I think once the tank is gone, you gotta reset. You have to have the wherewithal to know, like, okay,
they found Jumping Wizard
on the clock. Yeah,
they found Jumping Wizard. They haven't touched in time. They touched with 8 seconds. They need to get another touch. They do make it. The body block attempt was there, but it wasn't enough. Can they keep Jumping Wizard alive? They can't.
Yeah, now it's just everybody going down here, friend.
Yeah. Big self-destruct just to make it secure despite losing Sonic Mark. And USF will hold halfway through point 2, but no more Mr. Nice Guy had halfway through point 3, excuse me. But a very strong offense from No More Mr. Nice Guy after how it started. This is a very winnable map for them.
Yeah, and especially how cleanly they played on Nepal, I would expect that their attack is going to be just as clean, surgical precision to dismantle the defense of the Nice Guys. It's going to be interesting to see what they come out here, though. I don't think they're going to be playing a Mercy on the attack.
It would surprise me. You might pocket a Widow for like 10 seconds to see if you can find an early pick. But outside of that, I don't think we see this Mercy come out. Good lord, how did I forget that character's name for so long? But no more Mr. Nice Guy running out the Zarya. That's very interesting. Usually we see this in a capacity to counter a Diva or to run with a Reaper in a bubble brawl, but we only see a Cassidy. Timmy Tum Tum going back to that Torb. That Torb did good things for them on Nepal Sanctum. Maybe just a bit of a comfort pick for this DPS player, something you can absolutely get away with at this rank or really any rank.
Yeah, but with the Ramatra, I mean, you just have so much range that you'll just be able to take that turret out so easily. But last time they did that, they then got attacked on the other side and got down 2 players. So maybe the focus fire on the turret will then distract. Nope, but there the turret goes.
Yeah, Niter actually looking like they want to keep this Widow. So the Reaper feels a little anti-synergistic here, but a workable comp. And there's the shot Niter wanted.
There it is, the caster curse going the other way this time as Niter opens up the killing and finds a nice headshot onto the opposing number.
Oh, and they pick off Pepe Julie as they're booped in the air, and yeah, that's a quick point A from USF White. A third for Niter. Okay, fair enough. Maybe they're cooking it here. Maybe they got a little bit of that sauce they put in the pan, some nice onions and garlic,
Yeah, definitely reigning supreme with all of these nice sight lines here on King's Row. They're in this sniper perch now once again. Okay, there. Nope.
Oh,
Okay, guess not.
I think they were dropping to see if they could find an angle, and then oh
Oh,
my god! Watch out, Sunlight Division. Niter has picked the Widowmaker and is on their way to your location.
oh my gosh, bring the darkness here from the Talon agent. My goodness, there was a sliver of pixel there and they found the head with it. Now they're looking for the cowboy up there on the high ground, but his combat king finds the elimination.
Looks like Timmy Tumtum wants to try to disrupt Niter, going this somber, going to try to sneak behind and pressure out Niter, but the problem is Niter has Sonic Mark on this Kiriko who can just TP Suzu and undo all of Timmy Tumtum's work.
Yeah, Sombra is the natural counter to Widow, right? She's aiming down sights. You can kind of get behind her, do your combination, and take her down. But you have to get back there first. And then with a Reaper on your backline, it's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, the Fade Force trade, Timmy Tumtum for Pickles. Pretty even, maybe slightly favoring No More Mr. Nice Guy, but they need to keep Pepe Julie alive. And the Annihilation will send No More Mr. Nice Guy tumbling and stumbling out of point two.
My goodness, that was a quadruple kill for the idiot cow. And they are just rolling clean here all the way to point two. And they don't have very far to go here on point three.
There's a touch from Timmy Tumtum. This is just a buy time. I think Timmy Tumtum knows this, but they need this. They need to buy time. They need something. There's going to be like 6 minutes, I believe. Five and a half. I was close.
Yeah, and that is a ton of time to get right here to the golden box of victory. At least enough time to accrue 2 sets of ultimates for your team. So right now, a couple check marks already glowing on the board for SF White. They might try to do the Beyblade Kitsune Rush combination and just eliminate everybody here and now.
You could do that. You could also say, hey, we've got all the time in the world. We're going to dry fight this, see what No More Mr. Nice Guy is willing to part with. Which appears to be the Window Jedi. And that will take down Bakavaka. But if you're USF White, you're happy with that. You traded nothing, you got 2 ults out. And Niter's going to take one for the road because they are just the canonical Widowmaker player.
Yeah, definitely an economical push here for South Florida. Just waiting for all 5 checks to come online. They're just going to run in there, press Q, and just dominate the server. So definitely a smart play from them.
They have time to do that twice, if not 3 times as well. As the Infrasight will be popped first. Gotta watch your head. We've seen Niter hit plenty of these shots as you can see them on the right of your screen maneuvering along that little offensive catwalk. I don't think combat kit's been scouted. They haven't been scouted. The Suzu's out! The Death Blossom is massive!
Oh my goodness. And what set it up was the Ravenous Vortex. The slow on that is so underrated. People don't realize how slow you actually move when you're in that. And they couldn't retreat off of the Death Blossom. Absolutely crazy play there from Florida.
Niter does get flattened as Jumping Wizard comes in with that Meteor Strike, but there's a Kitsune Annihilation. That's so much damage. Kitsune does increase the tick damage of Annihilation for those of you wondering. And Bakavaka has taken apart the backline. Great 2's trying to trade, as has Timmy Tumtum. There's something here for No More Mr. Nice Guy, especially if they can find a stick with this Pulse Bomb. It does go wide, but there's something here. A lot of low health bars. The deflect does go up. Headshots found. They're running out of people. They need more, and they need it now.
Yeah, absolutely wild here from Baka. I know he like went forward and just annihilated the spawn people, but he left his backline open, did retreat. They were able to salvage it, and they take map 2.
Yeah, very, very swift attack. Perhaps a little bit of an error from Bakavaka at the end, but unpunished. Great shots from Niter and some good work from the rest of the team. Stabilized that situation, and No More Mr. Nice Guy's now up against it. They had a decent attack, but they couldn't make the defense work. And now they're going on to Flashpoint. Of course, only 2 Flashpoint maps. Both are in the pool. Not a ton of difference between the 2, though.
Yeah. I really like Servasa, to be honest, between the 2. If I had to pick, if I was in one of these seats, I like Servasa. I think it offers a lot, especially for the compositions that they're trying to run. I think right now, South Florida can basically run anything. If they want to run the Ramattra, they can. If they want to run the Junker Queen, go for it. The Diva, have at it. So I think the whole kit caboodle is there for the taking, friend.
I think USF White is just looking a lot more coordinated. Like I said, No More Mr. Nice Guy did play in the last Rainbow Open, but the team has had a lot of turnover since then. USF White, they look like a well-oiled machine. I don't know exactly what their practice scrim setup looks like, but they are a collegiate team. They are probably spending a lot of time together. They're probably scrimming a lot together, and it's showing in match.
Absolutely. And as a reminder to the folks at home, this is week one, right? So there is
Yeah.
more to come from both of these squads in terms of fine tuning a lot of the things, finding what works best for your team. A lot of times when you come together as a new squad, you have to find out, okay, what are my hero pools? What are my teammates' hero pools? How can we run things that's sort of meta but sort of comfortable at the same time as we get used to each other's play style? So they are only going to get better from here. That is a guarantee. They're putting up a really good showing right now, but right now the USF is just a little bit more
Little
fun.
better. Yeah, just a reminder for anyone just now tuning in. This is week one, match one of our Sunlight division, which is our platinum and below division. We're allowed one diamond three or below peak player on your roster, so a little bit of wiggle room there, but platinum below for the most part. There are only four teams in this division this season, so all four teams will make playoffs. And like we said, this is week one. One more Mr. Nice Guy has a lot of time to stabilize, to find their footing, and even if they go 0-3, 0-6, however many matches they end up playing with only four teams in the division, they make playoffs. So this is just for seeding, and like we've said before, it's effectively bonus scrim time.
Yeah, and right now, none of these players are looking like plat or below. I think they're all looking like grandmaster level
Yeah.
because the coordination is just that clean. It is just a beautiful Overwatch to spectate, and I'm glad to be here with you, Zoe, doing it.
And also worth noting, we saw USF White on their offense clean up the over-investing ult issues we saw for the first map and a half. They a lot more disciplined, and that's very good. They need to keep trending that way because obviously, better teams, and we don't know, these could be the two worst teams in the division, these could be the two best teams in the division. We don't know. It's week one. But better teams and teams as you climb up the rank structure, maybe next year they come back in our Twilight division, I believe it's Diamond and Below.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you for confirming. So next year, if you come back in Diamond and Below and you start overinvesting alts, you're gonna get punished more than you will here in Plat and Below. Players are better, players react quicker, players are smarter. I'm not saying any of these players aren't good or fast or smart. They clearly are, as we've been seeing, but as you go up, they only get better. Like, that's just a fact of life. Either way, we are just waiting on teams map pick. We will not be doing a break unless there's a win on this map 3 for No More Mr. Nice Guy, because we'll be taking a break before map 4. Otherwise, I don't believe we have a second match to stream today for you, unfortunately, but this has been a good match either way.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Anytime I get to see Kings Row be played out, I'm always happy with that cast. So
Yeah.
fantastic from both of these squads. Absolutely. I really I like the fact that Niter got so much value on that Widow. That was something I was not
Yeah.
expecting. They stuck on it all the way through. They knew exactly what spots on the map to be, and every single time they were opening up the fight with an elimination.
I almost wish No More Mr. Nice Guy had run a Zenyatta so we could have made a recreating the Alive short joke, but didn't pan out that way. Either way, we saw Niter kind of go crazy on not a traditional Widow map, and I guess they could bring it out on Flashpoint, but that would be a big gamble as we do have our pick in, and it is going to be Suravasa picked by the side of No More Mr. Nice Guy as the losers. They do get.
Love it. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted to see and exactly what I was expecting. I think there's a lot of versatility on this map for them to kind of play around with and see what will work for them. I would like to just see a kind of a stable composition, something that's most meta, maybe a Ramatra coming through, just maybe a Kiriko Lucio backline, and then maybe Tracer Pharah, something like that as the DPS duo, just to try it out, see if they can just run it and make it look good.
Yeah, on the other side, you could also just see them go like full comfort heroes and just say like, okay, well, clearly playing these comps hasn't been working. What if we just go to like all of what we're comfortable on? Can we, like, it won't be a super coherent comp, but can we make something function? And that's kind of what we're seeing in Spawn from No More Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, with the Doomfist, I mean, Jumpy was looking very good on a
Yeah,
hero that likes to jump, so it makes sense. And then the Great 2 on
it's
the Genji was
Genji.
fantastic as well. Yeah.
We saw some really nice, just straight up dry blades from them. Very hard to get any value with just a dry blade in current Overwatch. And we see Watson back on that Moira, very survivable, although not a lot of utility. And then we see Pepe Julie on this Kiriko, been a stable for a long time, trending down to be sure, but we do see Niter back on this Widowmaker.
And Saravasa definitely not a traditional Widowmaker map. Combat Kid
Not at
also
all.
on the Symmetra as well, which I do love Symmetra on flashpoints. I think because you can go point to point, if you get there early, you can set up with those turrets, and there
Oh,
she
that
goes,
beam does
getting
so
that
much damage.
elimination first. Yeah.
And then the melts Watson can't deflect the beam. Budget Zarya doing her thing.
Yes, the Beam character is doing a fantastic job, and a clean and early fight win here from Southern Florida.
Yeah, and Flashpoint ticks fast, depending on how the next fight goes, given that USF got a pretty early point flip. No more Mr. Nice Guy might only get one more fight. It looks like Jumpy wants to go back to Swan and swap, and we're going to see the Winston come out. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, back in Overwatch 1, Winston was the counter to Symmetra. You can get those turrets
Yeah.
out quickly, things like that. But the fact that she can charge up off your shield may spell doom for our scientist friend here. We'll see how they decide to engage with another jumping sort of character.
I wonder if this is for Niter as much as it's for the Symmetra. But if Great 2 just got punched in the face by Baka, and that might just be the point. That is just the point.
Yeah, I mean, Winston's a dive tank. He wants to try to jump and engage, not just fight you mano-y-mano, and that's exactly what Baka decided to do. So another easy fight win, and I believe that will be point 1.
Yeah. We've seen some Winston brawls come out. Anyone who remembers Zombie Comp remembers the Winston brawl, but not something that functions as well anymore. It was really very reliant on that off tank, but something you can make work as we are going to be heading to, is this Ruins or Temple? A bit hard to tell based on the rotation. I think it's going to be Temple.
Yeah, and this is a great place for the Symmetra to set up a lot of little sneaky spots to place those turrets. So if they got there first, they would have been able to set up, but it is No More Mr. Nice Guy who gets here first.
On the flip side, though, there's a little bit more distance for the Winston to play to make those jumps if jumping Wizard wants. And there he goes. The Symmetra down, the Annihilation out. Watson is also down, but the backline is getting torn apart by this Winston. Pepe Julie's also laid out that Kitsune rush. But now that the Annihilation's over, the Nemesis form is still here. The punches are doing great work. I believe it is a 1v2. Baka versus Great Wizard, or Jumping Wizard and Great 2. They get my names up, and you know what? Good work from No Mr. Nice Guy to not panic, to kill who they needed to kill, and then turn around and deal with that Ramachu. Now so go over to the Diva. Bastion? Hello, Niter. I see you.
That is a Winston's worst enemy, my friend. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of deciding between. They're going to go for wholesale changes, though, here.
Yeah, it looks like a hard counter brawl. I think Combat Kid's just looking to swap here. Yeah, they're just ripping that to rip that. Technically not what you should do anymore, is you can just retain no charge, but like, really impactful. The dive comes through. They're going to bubble off the Diva and try to kill her. Very clever here from Jumping Wizard. Doesn't quite work out, but does bait out the turret form and the micro missiles. They had to get the Suzu to get out, but a decent first engage. And now the Coalescence is rolling. Nothing can negate this. Not the Break Shield, not the Diva Defense Matrix. The counter Kitsune Rush. Pepe Julie's getting run over. The blade, or the visor, sorry, is popped. Supports are traded. Backlines are being traded. HP's getting low on both sides. Jumping Wizard does use that Primal Rage. There's a duel here between the Genji and the Bastion. A traditional counter the Genji to the Bastion does get the kill. It's just this Diva. The Diva's found 2, though, but with no mech, it's an ambitious self-destruct. And they do, unfortunately, lose the point as well as that self-destruct ult. Ooh, careful there, Jumping Wizard. Bumped a little bit and almost went off the map.
Yeah, definitely Baka's going to want that one back, I feel, for this next engagement. But I'm surprised that Jumping survived that entire time without having to use the Primal until the very end. Now he's catching the support line out of bounds.
Very good target focus. You go for the Brig first. The Brig cannot pack herself. The Kiriko can Suzu herself. You got to kill that Brig first. Trades are coming through. They get to me Tum Tum, but it's traded back. Baka once again running rampant, but I don't think it matters. They don't have a team.
Yeah, at that point, the support line was already annihilated, and the Kiriko was way out of position, so those little healing papers could not get to the tank, and now it is just cleanup. But fortunately, no one has capped the point just yet.
It's been a very, very decisive dive from No More Mr. Nice Guy. A Flashpoint, a map that doesn't tend to favor dive, but they've been making it work very well.
And especially against all of these huge counters against the Winston,
Yeah,
the Bastion, and the Reaper.
The Bastion, the Diva, the Brig. I mean, the only way you could counter it harder is to like go Ana.
That would
You,
be a miserable time for our scientist friend, but for now, the engagement is about to commence.
there's a Dragon Blade. We've seen Grade 2 do great things with this Dragon Blade. It's gonna come out. The TP is forced and Pickle is burnt. They trade Timmy Tum Tum, yes, but okay. The backline is traded for the DPS line, but there is a Primal Rage here. It is going to be used. Very winnable for either side. Favorite for the Mr. Nice Guy. The Death Blossom to try to turn it. They can't quite get either support. The TP away. Pepe Julie is living for so long. The Suzu and the Moira pocket, they will eventually fall, but it costs all of the mech. The self-destruct is used, and they do force them back. They do get the cap. Jumping Wizard takes that remech damage, and that will lead to their death, and I think USF White have just about managed to flip this point.
Oh my gosh, in the waning moments of the match, they were able to cap it. I mean, and I thought that they were Mr. Nice Guy was going to be able to turn it with the reinforcements, Moira coming in to save Pepe Julie, but it was a massive Diva Bomb that created enough space to allow the reinforcements for USF to come in and find the right damage needed. So they do have the point now, but it's last fight territory. If they lose this, the point will go the way of Mr. Nice Guy.
They have a rally, though, and that rally can do so much work against this Visor. It can be so hard to chip through that rally over here with just a blank Visor. There's a Coalescence to sustain, and there's a Bastion. Bastion is very hard to use into this, though. And it looks like they want to burn Niter. The rally stuns the Moira all down, though. Oh, that's a big play, but is it enough? It looks like it is enough, and we're going to go to point 5, I think.
Yeah, I would like that they spent all their resources to just get that Bastion down, as is the strategy. You have to, because he can just do so much damage, but they ran out of tools to then sustain themselves as the Coalescence was used to take out that Bastion. So now 2 points the way of USF, 1 for Mr. Nice Guy.
Huge stun from Pickle. Who knows what could have happened if that Coalescence kept rolling. We see Grade 2 over to the Sombra. Gonna look to hack the Bastion to prevent him from getting the damage reduction of his turret form. Clever little pick here from Grade 2, although I don't know what their hero pulls exactly look like. Perhaps in an ideal world you like Timmy Tum Tum to go that, but Sombra might just not be in Timmy Tum Tum's hero. A hero pull. Jumping Wizard back over to that Doomfist as well.
Yeah, they really seem to like it, and I would tend to agree. The
Break
Visor now,
dead.
it's huge, and the Brig is not there as well. The Sombra getting massive value here, Zoe.
The Artillery to try to turn it, as well as the self-destruct. The Artillery catches Pepe Julie, actually. There might be something here. First cap does go to No One Mr. Nice Guy, but USF White, if they go quick, they're going to have quicker respawns. Pepe Julie will not be here. It is just going to be the heals from Watson. Oh, that's a huge pick for Grade 2, though. That's so smart to go for that isolated Bastion.
Yeah, Sombra, is Bastion's worst enemy. Now the dive coming through once again from Jumpy. He is just quick on the trigger finger.
Oh, they
let's
lose
see if he can
Watson,
survive.
They lose Watson. The Suzu comes through in the block. He has Empowered Punch. Really get a chance to use it. No. Burns down to Sonic Mark's Coalescence. And it looks like it's just cleanup here. As No More Mr. Nice Guy are going to just die on this point. Very smart. No else invest to just get yourself that little bit of extra percentage. But this has been such a back and forth map.
And something that's really impressed me is the re-engage and the retakes from USF. Every time I feel like they should just reset fully, go back to the strong room doors, they're able to wait just long enough to bait the other team in and then counter the fight and turn it, and then able to cap the point off of it. So time and time again, we're seeing it done from them. But right now, only the Death Blossom on the board. Oh, the rally as well. Ooh.
Ooh, okay, very scary moment for both players there, but no one ends up falling. Death Blossom is expended. But a lot of cooldown or Suzu used on the other side. Niter on that jump back gets run over though, not able to use the mine to escape. Puts down a lot of damage, but there was no one on high ground to trade that. The EMP does catch, even though Grade 2 dies. There's a lot of low HP bars. They need to find some kills. No one, Mr. Nice Guy. They get the mech, but there's a self-destruct to remech. And now it's desperation time for No More Mr. Nice Guy. They're low numbers and low health bars on the point, and they don't have a lot of time.
My goodness. I mean, Baka is just wild. This tank is so good. They survive so long and just do so much damage here, Zoe. It's incredible.
The touch comes through from Grade 2, and they're able to actually get Niter with that virus, not able to get the pack in time. Watson pops the Coalescence, but the ball can't make it, and it will be USF White winning this series 3-0, but a lot of good on that last map for No More Mr. Nice Guy. They made a strong dive happen on a weak dive map.
Yeah, it was great to see, and that's really hard to do, to coordinate a dive to that sort of perfection there. I would like to see them capitalize a little bit more on that EMP. They did get three folks with it, but none of them went down. So definitely something to work on a little bit later with that Sombro, because that EMP can be a game-changing ultimate.
Yeah, very much so. Very, very impactful ultimate. Even after the rework, just even shutting down people's cooldowns for 1 second, half a second, however long it is now, I don't know off the top of my head, is it's enough time to just nuke a squishy. You know, they caught the Moira in it, I believe. That Moira with no fade and no orb, really, I feel like should have died, but not able to coordinate their fire. But despite some coordination issues in that EMP fight, you know, we do got to give praise. Their target selection was excellent. Their dive setup was really quite good because I know we've harped on it, but Flashpoint is so tight. It is so hard to execute a dive on it.
Yeah, for sure. And even Jumpin' Wizard coming out with the Doomfist,
Yeah.
that's still a dive tank in my opinion. So being able to find some effect with that character as well was really great. I just want to see their ultimate coordination and usage just come together just a little bit more to
Yeah.
finish off some of those kills, finish off those fights cleanly, so that way they can reset up and engage for the next onslaught.
A lot of good here from No More Mr. Nice Guys Die. Perhaps a little bit more work to be done on the brawl, but such is the nature of teams. You're usually, when you first get together, only good at one, and it looks like No More Mr. Nice Guys good at dive. I'm sure they've got the brawl working. They've probably got incredibly talented coaches that will help them out, and if they don't, you know, I'm sure they can find one. Plenty of coaches out there willing to help out, especially these lower ranked players, or lower ranked, Plat is average rank, but you get my point.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a reminder, folks, this is just week one, so these teams
Yeah.
will get better and better and better. But yeah, I think that is the only match we will be casting here tonight, my friend. But definitely check us out next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for even more Rainbow Open action.
Yep. Remember, I believe we start with Midnight Division, which is our Grandmaster or Masters and below, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't believe we're going to be conducting an interview today. I haven't heard anything about it, so it sounds like USF White just wants to move on with their day. Can't entirely blame them. You know, like you mentioned, it is getting a bit late there on the East Coast. So, you know, I wish both our teams a good night, and I wish you, our viewers, a good night. You can find me on Twitter at Kazui or here in the Morris Discord, where we'll find you.
Bye.
Yeah.